with and learn from as well. And one of those here is behind us, Woody's Barnyard. But you actually, Greg, have quite a few different attractions at the fair.
We actually bring in 3 attractions when we come to fair. We have the barnyard, and we also have our Ligers, cats that weigh 900 pounds, and we also have our wildlife educational show. We've got a baby grizzly bear in that show, and our main agenda out here is to let these people see these animals and learn about them. You know, these kids do a great job with our common domestic livestock production, but we want to touch base that we have both ends of the world for people to see and learn about, and as I say, see how wonderful these animals are to work with.
Seeing is believing in a lot of cases.
Seeing is believing. You have people say, well, I heard about Ligers, and they come in here and they didn't realize, these 2 guys I've got with us, they weigh 900 pounds, and they're only about 9 years old. They should live another 10 to 15 years. And, it is a natural mating between a lion male and a tiger female. And as I say, these guys are very spoiled house cats, as I call them. They're just a little bigger than your house cat.
And you were saying they eat quite a bit, too. They're pretty hungry.
They eat 20 pounds of meat a piece a day. And as I put it in context for kids, that's 160 of those McDonald's hamburgers every day per cat. And so, I'm feeding 320 of those hamburgers a day out here to these cats on the road.
And certainly the audience somewhat has an ag background, but we're close enough to the city, especially with the concerts and some of the other activities, that I would imagine there's a certain amount of introduction to kids, maybe even some parents, who have not had such an introduction before.
And that is very correct. And that's the thing is, as I say, we have too many people who live in the cities forget about that brown Swiss cows don't give chocolate milk. And, that's part of our agenda out here is to let people see different things and educate and learn about them. And as I say, and during my shows and different ones, the only reason people care about dolphins is because of the TV show Flipper. The only reason people care about tigers is people like us getting them out here and let people see them and realize what they are. And let's protect the animals in their natural habitat, but let's use these animals as ambassadors to get people aware of what they are and where their habitats are and what it takes to keep them going. Because you take somebody who's lived in a 100-story high-rise apartment their entire life and they're in their 70s. We're going to take somebody who's lived in rural America and only goes to town once a week, and there are people still live that way, and we're going to switch them. They're neither one going to be happy, and these animals are the same way. It's a lifestyle they become adaptive to, and I invite anybody to come out here to the fair, whether it's this fair or another fair, and see the animals, and whether it's my show or another show, see the way people interact with these animals. And because the thing is, if they're not happy out here, it don't work. They've got to be happy and content because it makes their life better and ours too.
Sounds like you've been doing this for a year or two.
Yeah, I think I started on the shows about 38 years ago. I started with Big Cats 40 years ago, so I've kind of learned a few things over the years, and I tell it as a joke, but I'm serious. If you told me when I was in high school I'd be doing this today, I'd tell you it's crazy, because I grew up milking cows, and I never dreamed I'd be working with big cats and stuff like that. And it's lack of education in so many people's minds, because like I say also during the show, we educate our kids to be scared of all snakes, because it's easier to teach them to be scared of all snakes than it is to identify venomous and non-venomous. And we want our kids to be safe in life, and that's the thing we do with big cats and different things like that. We want everybody to be safe. And my cats, as I say, are no different than your cats. They're just 885 pounds bigger. So, if your cat weighs 15 pounds, wants attention, it's going to lay on top of you. My cat weighs 900 pounds, wants to lay on top of you, you're smashed. So you have to work with them accordingly and reward them in other ways.
Takes a little bigger couch in that case.
It takes a little bigger couch, and as I say, we have a lot of fun with them, and we realize that they're here by creators for different reasons and different things, and we enjoy working with them, and we enjoy bringing them out here for people to see and learn about.
Having some fun with it. That's the name of the gig. Thank you.
No, thank you guys. Appreciate you coming out here to let people see it and invite everybody to come to your fair.
Yeah, it's just one of the many options here at the Linn County Fair. Entertaining, yet informational in Central City. A lot of people think a lot of different things when it comes to the county fair, and there are certainly a lot of different attractions that can be enjoyed. But the history and tradition, as we think about how these things have become important and been built up over the years, has and continues to be and always will be around agriculture and animals and projects through 4-H and FFA. Kylie, as Beef Queen, you're one of the people that gets to kind of continue this tradition and help people understand it, participate in it, and try and pass it on to the next generation.
Yep, that's what we're in charge of, I guess.
And education also, helping people that don't live on the farm understand what it is that we do.
Right, because they don't understand how much work goes into all this stuff and where their food actually comes from.
And that's part of what you've got here with the visual aid.
Yep. So this just shows the different types of breeds, and the most popular would probably be Hereford and the beef shorthorn on the sign. So,
talk a little bit too about how one gets involved in showing, because Somebody just can't walk in off the street.
No, so when I started, I grew up on a little hobby farm. We had a couple goats and like one cow. And I had a friend that grew up with a bunch of cattle, and his sisters showed before. And I thought, oh, that'd be kind of cool. So I got into it when I was in 4th grade, and I've just been doing it ever since.
What do you love about it?
I just love being with the cows. They're like pet dogs that weigh like 1,300 pounds.
Yeah, except if the dog comes up and snuggles in your lap, that's fine. If one of these does that,
Right, yeah, that'd be a different story entirely.
maybe their head if they get tired or something.
Yep.
So what then, if somebody wants to say show at the state fair, we're at the Linn County Fair, this is sort of a practice run, if you will?
Yep, so you have to first be involved in 4-H or FFA, and then you don't necessarily have to go to the Linn County Fair or the county fair level, but it's easier since they're used to being around people up here to get them ready for state fair.
What do you think are a couple of the greatest things you've learned through your 4-H years in showing?
I've definitely learned a lot of leadership and communication, just helping little kids grow up through the project.
Now, what's next for you?
So next for me, I have, after this year, I have only one more year of showing for FFA through the state fair, but then I want to continue to show just some open shows, and I'm a 4-H leader, so hopefully I can help continue.
4-H and FFA are growing in the state.
Oh yeah, they're definitely getting huge.
Well, we appreciate your contribution. Congratulations, royalty, queen, and we'll see you out at the state fair.
All right, see you there.
Just one of the many show persons here at the Linn County Fair. More of our royalty here at the Linn County Fair, the Beef Princesses. We'll talk a little bit about showing and preparation. This doesn't happen overnight by any stretch of the imagination. Allie, introduce us to this big guy here.
This is Charlie. He's a shorthorn steer.
And how long have you known Charlie?
About a year.
And what got you interested into showing cattle? Because you didn't grow up on a farm initially.
Right. So my grandma and my grandpa, they have a farm and they had cattle, and I knew I wanted to show cattle. So about 7 years ago, I started showing cattle, and I love it.
Apparently, Charlie's got a fascination with the microphone here.
Yeah.
I doubt it'll taste that good there, big guy. How long have you known Charlie?
About a year.
And where did you find him? Take us through the process here of trying to select a steer and then getting ready to show.
All right. So I went to somebody else's farm, and he had cattle for sale. And so I went and looked for a calf, and I found Charlie, and I knew that he'd be ready for the fair in time. So I picked him out, we brought him home, and I had to put a halter on him to get him used to it. So he had a halter on for a couple of days. And then, so after he was had a good amount of time with the halter, I had to start walking him. And so at first he did not want to walk at all, and I had to pull him, somebody had to be behind him pushing him, and it was really hard. But then, I don't know, something changed with him, and he just walked right with me and never had to be pulled or anything. And then I had to do the show stick, and so I practiced on him with the show stick, and he got used to the show stick so it wouldn't spook him in the ring or anything. And then I had to start washing him, and so when I was washing him, he didn't really like it at first because, sometimes they don't like water being sprayed at them. So at first it was not very fun, but then afterwards, after a while of him being washed, he liked it. And when I scrub his rear end, he loves it, and he'll stick his tongue out and shake his butt. Yes, he does that. And then we brought him to fair.
Now, how big is Charlie? How much does he weigh?
He weighs 1,304.
So you can't just drag him around. He's a little bigger than you are.
Yeah, he's way bigger than me.
This doesn't happen overnight, though. There's a lot of involved in breaking a steer to lead. And if you go into the average feedlot and throw a halter on him, it's a little bit different story.
Yeah, we got him in December, and that's when I started working with him. So it's taken a while.
Thanks, Allie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Allie and Charlie as we talk a little steer showing here at the Linn County Fair. Of course, we like to have a lot of fun out at the county fair. That's kind of the whole point, right? And one of the ways to do it is to have people that may not have a whole lot of experience holding on to a halter or a show stick in the ring with a halter, a show stick, and animal. And that's the case here with the Celebrity Dairy Show about ready to take place, Aaron. You all ready for this?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Hey, you grew up on a farm.
Yep.
What type of farm?
It was a beef cattle farm in Dubuque, Iowa.
And so you've been, had a hold of a halter once or twice.
Yeah, I've showed a little bit. When I was younger, I used to show dairy cows, but it's been a few years, so I might have to brush up on my skills before I get in the ring.
A little practice probably never hurts.
Yep, wouldn't hurt.
It's hard to do, though, on just in everyday life, practice with a halter.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a halter around me in a while, but I'm sure I can brush up pretty quick.
And we might have found, guys, the only person on the fairgrounds who could pick one of these steers up.
I don't know about that. That one's pretty big, but there's some small ones in the barn, I heard, so might have to give it a try.
Now, obviously, we have a lot of fun with this, but the point is to, help the public understand what goes on around the farm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work that go into these animals that all the kids and parents have to invest a lot of time and effort into, and I think shows really bring that out, and I think it's really good for the whole community to come and watch those kind of things.
Now, what did you learn growing up on a farm that's helped you in wrestling?
I mean, it takes a lot of the same things, wake up early, work hard, and it's just a lot of the same characteristics you need in both things. They go hand in hand.
Some of those values carry over.
Yeah, they definitely carry over. Hard work never hurt anybody.
Boy, that's something that sometimes is, that's a thought process, I guess, is sometimes hard to come across.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what are you looking forward to here?
Well, I brought my friend Miles Wilson. He's going to show too, so we're going to have a little competition, see who can do better. I think I'm a little more experienced right now, so I'm looking to get the win.
So you're looking at showmanship, or you're looking at the show overall?
I'm looking at the show overall, but it's all about showmanship here. I mean, I got to show out a little bit.
Doing a little
skills.
Doing a little trash talking, are you?
Yeah, I got in his head on the way up here. I told him just don't get last.
Aaron, good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
Just one of our celebrity showmen here for the Celebrity Dairy Show at the Linn County Fair. I'll visit with our judge here just a little bit at the Celebrity Dairy Show at the Linn County Fair. And boy, a lot of high-quality animals in the ring here today.
There was. I mean, the junior part of the show was really excellent for a dairy show.
Now, you've been in the dairy business a year or two.
Yeah, I started in the dairy business in 1981.
And have managed to persevere through some tough times, one of which we're in the middle of right now.
That is correct. It's very tough for the average dairy farmer right now.
What's kept you going?
Just my love of milking cows, mainly. I mean, I just love what I'm doing, and I don't know if I know how to do anything else. So.
Now, you were talking about the economic impact,
Right.
And shows like this really can help people understand, and the general public, I guess, understand the importance of what it is you've done for 30-some years.
Correct, yes. We try to come out through the Iowa State Dairy Association with that economic impact so we can get that message out to as many people as possible.
Now, how is the dairy industry, and I realize this is probably a loaded question to a certain extent, but how has the dairy industry changed over the years for the average person not involved with it, or maybe not knowing a whole lot about it? How have things kind of evolved?
Mainly it's the size of the dairy operations. When we started in 1981, there was a lot of dairy farms that had 30 to 50 cows. 100 cows was considered a huge dairy farm. Right now in the state of Iowa, the average size dairy farm is 175 cows. You get out into western Iowa and there's dairies out there that have 3,000 to 5,000 cows. So mainly it's the size of the farms that has really changed in the last few years.
And then what has allowed for the growth, I guess? How is it? Because you're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to milk 3 times, but technology and such, how has that changed to allow for this type of expansion?
Yeah, our technology we've put in the last 4 years. I mean, we went from a tie stall barn to a parlor where we have automatic takeoffs. A lot of it's automatic feeding. The facilities we have changed so much. that it's so much easier to take care of a larger number of cows than it used to be. Yes.
And direct access to the consumer too. It's kind of fun to see these local ice cream shops and local creameries prop up where you can walk in and get some fresh cheese or some fresh ice cream that you know was made by the same people growing the cows.
Yes, I know a few of those people that have started those outfits, and I think it's terrific that they've put them on, basically Main Street of a lot of little towns and even some of these big towns in the state.
And boy, are the cheese curds good.
The cheese curds are great. If you can get some of the flavored ones, they're really good. The fresh ones that are still squeaky when you eat them are just terrific.
And all of this revolves around, of course, getting a fresher, better tasting product out to the customer quicker.
Yes, and what a lot of people don't know is milk that leaves the farm is on the store shelf within 24 to 48 hours. I mean, I don't think there's another product on the store shelf that's there as fresh as that is.
Tell me a little bit more about what we're doing here today with this show.
It's just a celebrity showmanship contest. So it was basically, we got celebrities from the public came in here, grabbed a halter on a calf. Some of them knew how to do it, and there was some that really didn't know how to do it. But I think everybody had fun leading the cow around, and they got a little bit of experience and a little bit closer to that farm.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
And keep eating those cheese curds and that ice cream that you see at so many of these local creameries.
Hello, sir. How are you? Good.
What do you know about your cow?
Her name's Lindsay. She's about 5 foot. She likes long walks in the park.
Thanks for joining us from the Linn County Fair as we continue telling you why it is they say great memories are made. More in just a moment on MC22. Teaching tool here with the Cockadoodle Zoo, an opportunity to walk through and see a lot of different animals and a lot of different places where food comes from and how it works on the farm. Kathy, you do a great job with this.
Thank you. We started this Cockadoodle Zoo probably back in the 90s. Our 4-H club decided we needed something to have for the kids to see, because at that time all the livestock wasn't here throughout the whole fair. So we had a variety of animals in there so they could see what other animals were on a farm. It was an old horse barn that we had them in, and it got torn down and this was built. So we decided to add the giant sandbox, which is behind us here, and we filled it with tractors and skid loaders and bulldozers and like farm construction machinery for kids to get in the sand and try to farm. And sometimes it gets out of the sandbox, but we don't care. And they love petting the animals, and we try to make it educational. We put up signs that tell about some of the interesting things about animals, and we want them to touch them, not climb on the fence or get hurt or anything, but they have a wonderful time in here. Sometimes it's really packed and you can't even get through it. So
Opportunity to have some fun and learn at the same time.
Yes, even for the adults. And sometimes they've never seen a animal, other than in a picture or a book, or get to touch one especially. They haven't ever had that opportunity to touch a live animal. So yes, we're just really glad that we can have that available for the kids here. And then we've added some other things, like these mirrors were donated, those fun mirrors for the kids, and they have fun, and adults have fun looking in those too.
Mm-hmm.
And you should go try it.
No, I'd probably break all of them, which wouldn't be good. But on a more serious note, I guess, as fewer and fewer people are directly connected with the production of their food, opportunities like this become more and more important as somewhat of a foundation to help people understand how it goes.
Yes. I grew up on a dairy farm, and my husband and I also milked cows with our children. And a lot of kids, you'd be surprised that they think milk comes just from the store. They don't know it actually came out of an animal. We used to give farm tours on our farm, our parents along with us, and had school children come out from Cedar Rapids, and they just got to learn about agriculture and got to milk a cow. And so just continue the tradition, I guess, that we just started in our family, and keep animals here at the fair for other kids to see. And
Kathy, thanks.
thank you for coming out here to the fair and being able to share this opportunity with the people.
You bet. An opportunity to tell the story of agriculture accurately to a wide audience here at the Linn County Fair. What in the heck do we have back here?
Well, this is my 1949 John Deere MT hillbilly tractor.
John Deere MT, that'd be somewhat of a rare bird.
Well, it is. It's about the same age as me. We're both going to be 70 years old next year, but it's still running good. Actually, it's just getting broke in.
I was going to say, which one's running better?
Well, I know one thing. It's going to outlast me.
Now, looks like added a few things, accessories or decorations over the years.
Well, yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. We got our Coke cooler mounted on the back for a lot of extra storage, and I've got my umbrella on there. Got a big old sound system. My deer antlers there, they go back and forth. I got one of the favorite things for the kids. I got a pump mounted on the Cookie Monster there. Cookie Monster blows up balloons. We make all the balloon animals for the kids.
What gave you the idea for some of these things?
Well, actually, 26 years ago, I had a Model A Ford, I still do, that, I was a street rider at the time. I was going to hot rod it, but I got it running, and it just looked so cute. My buddy said, don't paint it, you'll ruin it. So I made it look badder instead of better, and the badder it looked, the better everybody liked it, and I volunteered. I went to the National Dairy Cattle Congress in Waterloo. We were selling raffle tickets for a horse trailer. My son was an FFA state officer that year, and I backed it up to the horse trailer, and we was having fun. Everybody was enjoying it and everything, and a booking agent come around and said, well, Hillbilly Bob, I never heard of you before. How long you been doing this? And I got my pocket watch out and said, well, I guess about 3 hours now. And he said, really? He said, man, I need to sign you up. I could send you to fairs all over the United States. Since then, we've been in 41 states and Canada at fairs, festivals, and rodeos.
So you're a natural.
Well, I say I'm a farmer. Farmers can be a plumber, an electrician, a hillbilly, preacher. I do a little bit of everything. None of them real well, but
Jack of all trades.
That's right. You got to be to make it in farming today.
Yeah, now tell us a little bit about that, too. You're an agricultural producer, I guess, or practitioner, or whatever term we want to use.
Well, I guess you'd call me a farmer. My great-great-grandpa settled our farm in 1853. 165 years ago. He had our 1880 Tama County history book tells us that he was the first white settler and farmer in the northern half of Tama County. And 2 years after he got here, 1855, he passed away. His son continued to farm, but that was the first burial on our farm. All the ancestors since 1855 are buried right on our farm, and that's where I'll be. That'll be my final resting place someday.
Hopefully quite a while from now.
Yeah, not anytime soon, certainly, right?
That's right, yeah.
But you have it sounds like a very unique family history, family tree there pretty close by.
Yeah, my dad and brother and I, we all farm together. They've gone on to be with the Lord now, but I still have 800 acres of corn and beans there that I pretty much hire a lot of the custom work done, but I take all the risk on. I always say I farm from my iPad anymore. You know, I don't have to shovel as much that way.
And so you travel around. You've got quite a few engagements here with not only this, but with your crazy car you were talking about also.
I do. Last week I was in Burwell, Nebraska. The week before that in Wausau, Missouri. Next week I'll be in Fort Dodge, then up to Princeton, Minnesota, and I can't remember. I got one just about every week from now till the 1st of October. The biggest one this year will be the Clay County Fair in Spencer, Iowa, a 9-day run there, and I've done that one 12 of the last 26 years.
Now, it looks to me like when you go driving through, they just flock to you. What do you think people enjoy about the tractor here?
Well, you know, it's like my granddaughter says, Grandpa, I just look at your tractor and laugh. You know, it's just kind of, it's an attraction. You know, when I began this, I didn't even know what an attraction was, and here I was one. But, you know, it just gives people a hoot and something to look at and laugh at and reminisce. And the theme is definitely rust because there ain't no paint. It is a John Deere, but it ain't green anymore.
It's in its working clothes.
That's right. That's right.
Just one of the many attractions if you see a group of people at the Linn County Fair, probably around Hillbilly Bob here in his tractor. I mentioned earlier the fair means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, including maybe some things you didn't know about. So thanks for spending an hour with us as we've been making great memories at the 2018 Linn County Fair here on MediaCom MC22.